A pleasant good morning to you, the residents of St. Lucia and St. Lucians in the diaspora viewing the broadcast live now on NTN. We are coming to you live from the Parliament building in Castries today, where the sitting of the lower house is scheduled to begin shortly to table a motion to extend the state of emergency and lay 2 bills. The broadcast for this morning's official proceedings are tying into this morning's NTN COVID-19 response report. My name is Jessie Leonce, and I'm joined by my colleague Carlton Cyril, as usual, out in the field, widely known as Cokes. Good morning, Cokes.
Bonjour Jessie, moi just dis bonjour pour vous qui nous encore au cas observer côté nous y bon matin nous en cas parlement et puis raison pour ça au cas ça veut venir pour étayer sur quoi nous ni 10 du temps qui supposé bout demain parlement ici a discussion qui point court pour faire assurer gouvernement hen plus temps et ben yo vieux hen pour plus longtemps et puis ça supposé fait aujourd'hui mais avant ça fait le gouvernement présenté et c'est billet by parlement ici au cas ça qu'on l'habitude nous au développement qui a pris coup expressement là pour faire avec 20 000 covid là et jamais nous dans situation côté tous les jours non ici à côté NTN GIS ni pour avoir information qui a sorti hot gouvernement pour informer et puis pour vous savoir qui ça qui a passé en nation quoi nous a dit wete puis nous ici et puis parmi l'autre bagaille nous a fait programme ici bon matin en caille parlement.
Thank you for that, Cokes. In the urgent sitting of the lower house this morning, the Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service, the Honourable Alan Chasney, will present the motion seeking that Parliament extends for an additional period commencing from the 27th of April 2020 and ending on the 31st day of May 2020. In accordance with Section 17.6 of the Constitution of St. Lucia, Cap 1.01, the Constitution of St. Lucia, Resolution of Parliament approving Declaration of State of Emergency passed as a statutory instrument number 40 of 2020 that approved the state of emergency that was published in the Gazette on the 23rd day of March 2020 as a statutory instrument number 39 of 2020 containing a declaration that a public emergency has arisen as a result of the occurrence of 2019 nCovid, an infectious disease commonly known as COVID-19, for a further period of 26 days commencing from the 31st day of March 2020 and ending on the 26th day of April. So the motion being tabled today is to table the extension of the state of emergency in St. Lucia to the end of May. Also, 2 bills will be scheduled this morning, 2 bills to be laid. That is the National Insurance Corporation Amendment Bill by the Honourable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, the Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service that seeks to put in place the structure and the stipulations for the economic relief program and payouts. You would have heard as part of the Prime Minister, the Honourable Prime Minister's social stabilization plan, that efforts are underway to provide some level of relief to individuals who would have lost their jobs due to the onset of COVID-19. And the numbers are in the thousands of persons affected, and so it is hoped that this bill can go through the House of Parliament. Also, the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Amendment Bill is scheduled to be laid by the Honourable Minister for Tourism, Information and Broadcasting, Culture and the Creative Industries. Cokes.
Et puis là, comme on a dit, messieurs, dames, il y en a ce raison, nous ici, ou bien savent, le Premier ministre a fait un annoncement, là, il vient pour étayer de sous quoi nous n'y ici, il y en a qui s'est joué pour l'année, qu'ils savent, en première fois, nous tenons 24 ans de temps, deuxième fois, les permission du Parlement, après, nous tenons pour 10 ans de temps. Quand le Premier ministre voulait ajouter tant ça pour l'autre 26 jours, mais pour ça, peut faire, il pour venir ici après il a consulté puis Attorney General il pour venir ici à présent en parlement et fait qu'est-ce là yo kay point en vote sur ça et puis yo kay voyer by Sénat là comme Premier ministre là même si j'ai annoncé dat qui il voulait ajouter ces jours les venir pour état sous quoi nous à présent il ni pour venir ici il passe en fait par quoi pour raison ça nous ici il changer en premier fois les été fait il était trouvé publié là en gazette là pour les 23 mars ça t'est quand à présent où ça pas yon bagay il même fait à sous compte quoi pour raison ici qui a présenté bill bon matin yon a ces bagay là on est pour savoir aussi les vini pour NIC en chaide nous tente parler d'assistance là en bas plan gouvernement ni bay citoyen cette ici pour assister monde qui trouvé quoi directement affecté et puis qui perd travail ou kay savent NIC et c'est yon qui trouvé quoi en bas conduite gouvernement avec la hani et bagay en place quand ça yo kay fait c'est un amendement qui a fait aujourd'hui pour manier la ça qui a trouvé quoi distribué et puis pour faire un amendement pour ça qui jala quand NIC pas qu'à conduire quoi et puis premier ministre passant dit il a fait un bagage c'est faut il vient ici pour une permission pour faire ça quand nous ouais ça après coup l'autre bill nous ouais honorable Dominique Fédé il a présenté un bill pour faire affaires tourisme ici encore ici un amendement il était supposé c'est yon qui supposé passer moi ça quand il a acheté pour ajouter et ben envoyer pour l'année prochaine quoi tout ça qui prend cours ici à bon matin.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Carlton. And just to give you an idea of the timeline, St. Lucia first declared a state of emergency due to COVID-19 on Monday, 23rd March. This was signed, this was declared by the Governor General, His Excellency Emmanuel Neville Snart. State of emergency came with a 6-hour curfew in force from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. And the very next day, Tuesday, Parliament approved the Emergency Powers Disaster COVID Order. And this order gives the government very wide-ranging powers as the island faces the onslaught of this deadly virus. In a rare move, the statutory instrument received support from both sides of the aisle in the lower and upper house. So members from both the government and opposition endorsed this move for the Emergency Powers Disaster COVID-19 Order. Scale-down operations of the country were initiated that week. The Prime Minister announced a 24-hour curfew, a national shutdown on Wednesday, April 1st. NEMO then kicked into gear, spearheading the preparation and delivery of relief packages to those in need and those who were caught off guard by this announcement. The Prime Minister thereafter reduced this 24-hour curfew a week later. Supermarkets, bakeries and banks were allowed to open for business to residents in St. Lucia. Things reverted to a partial scale down of the economic activity. Persons were able to now leave their home for only essential items. Again, the supermarkets, bakeries and banks were allowed to open for business to residents to get money, buy emergency supplies and to head back home because of the state of emergency. Of course, all to curb the spread of the transmission of COVID-19 in the community. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has since announced that 30 people have been arrested and charged for violating the curfew. Again, another point on the timeline. School has since reopened on 20th April. That was yesterday, 20th April. Learning from home term. The Ministry of Education making arrangements via the e-learning platforms for students to continue their learning. This week, the Ministry of Health and Wellness reports 10 consecutive days of no new cases of COVID-19 on island. In a press release issued Monday, 20th April 2020, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George provided an update on the diagnosed COVID-19 cases in St. Lucia. We have our first clip for the morning. Madam CMO.
As of April 20th, 2020, St. Lucia has a total of 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Of these 15 cases, 13 of them have recovered to date and have been discharged from hospital care, 2 of whom were repatriated to the United Kingdom earlier in April. So at present, we only have 2 positive cases in isolation at the respiratory hospital. Our last confirmed case was reported on Friday, April 10th, 2020, and since then, of the 58 test run, all have been negative for COVID-19.
announcing that we've had 10 consecutive days of no new cases. So just to give you an update, the total confirmed cases in St. Lucia, 15 cases, Carlton, 13 recovered, 11 on island, and 2 that have been repatriated to the United Kingdom. 2 remain positive in St. Lucia. They are now in isolation at the respiratory hospital. The last confirmed case was reported on Friday, April 10th. Now, despite this report from the Ministry of Health from Madam CMO, Dr. Belmar George wants us to be aware, warns us that we shouldn't get complacent due to this case of not having new COVID-19 cases in the last 10 days.
Though we at the Ministry of Health are heartened by these data trends, we note that this should not provide us with a false sense of security and allow us to believe that we are no longer at risk for the COVID-19 outbreak. It is our awareness of this that drives our public health team to continue to work intensively in implementing all of the core components of our health sector response, which includes testing, isolating, treatment and care, contact tracing, and public education. We appeal to every individual to keep strict adherence to the infection prevention and control guidelines, which continue to be issued by the Ministry of Health, as these, though simple, are inexpensive and effective methods to reduce the risk for spreading COVID-19.
That was Dr. Sharon Belmar George, the Chief Medical Officer of St. Lucia, just giving us quick information. No new cases in the last 10 consecutive days from April 10th. We had our last reported case in St. Lucia on April 10th. Our total cases, confirmed cases in St. Lucia, are 15 to date. 13 of these cases have recovered. I'm talking about 11 recovered here on island and 2 recovered. These 2 cases were repatriated to the United Kingdom. 2 remain positive. We have 2 confirmed diagnosed cases, positive active cases in isolation at the respiratory hospital. The last confirmed case was reported on Friday, 10th April. The Chief Medical Officer there giving us an update as of this week. Carlton?
Merci Anchai Jesse. Quand on messieurs dames, là ni pour faire pied vermin COVID là, premier pas au cas savent c'est raison ça nous état de secours as a result de vermin en chaque département comme continuellement qu'a dit a trouvé quoi affecté enceinte la vie même a trouvé quoi affecté. Quand là nous ni information qu'a sorti hod chef médical officier enceinte ça c'est docteur Belma George et puis te ka bay information te ka ban nous information développement là vini pour côté nous à présent là vini pour vermine covid là ben là au cas savent docteur Avier est confirmé nous ni 15 cas nous ni en toute là vini pour monde qui a trouvé quoi testé positif et puis vermine ça c'est covid 13 en ces monde ça a recouvert ça c'est monde yo have caillou 11 à sous pays à Saint-Lucie et des have un pays qui c'est l'Angleterre nous était en l'ordre qui positif toujours mais en isolation en l'hôpital là et puis yo ka prend caillou quand là ça qui est bien important pour vous savent c'est ça qu'a fait 10 jours douette nous pour connait pièce car ici en Saint-Lucie pour la peine là vini pour affaire COVID-19 chef médical officier a dit et ça c'est docteur Belma George nous pas ni pourquoi date qui nous arrivé qu'on nous caler nous pas ni pourquoi nous ja gain nous ha gain ça y a là vini pour goumen côte Covid là quand il y a des moun protocole en place toujours on est pour changer date qui on est pour faire tout ça ces avertissements qui doit avoir là toujours quand laver la main sanitize la main pas tousser en parmi moun tousser en coup de bois mettez masque en fidjayu wete hod distance social hod moun si pierre on est pour wete ça qui plus important wete caillou quand même si nous poko ouais pièce ka di vermine covid là en 10 jours la chef médical officier a dit ça pas pièce raison pour nous quoi toute bagaille ka vie normal il dit non il dit nous ni pour expressement payer attention pour ça qui a fait là et continuer mettre en pratique ces bagailles là qui a droit la protocole pour nous poursuivre.
Thanks for that, Carlton. And with that, we are now due for our first break. We are coming to you live from Parliament Building in Castries with the GIS Information Command Center for the COVID-19 response. We're due for a break. When we come back, Cabot St. Lucia contributes $50,000 to St. Lucia's COVID-19 response. Stay tuned for that and more coming up in just a moment.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Thank you for staying tuned. We're now live from the Parliament Building in Castries. For those of you watching the live, we got a few comments. Just to let you know, we have now put on our masks because we were expecting individuals and honorable ministers to now come in through our chambers for this morning. We'd like to let you also know that we are 6 feet apart, although the cameras may not reflect that, but we are indeed 6 feet apart. Isn't that right, Carlton?
Oui, Jesse, vous qui doit la caille observer à présent nous ne masques nous à sous fidjay nous. Raison pour ça, vous savent à présent ces gens à parlement avec monde commencer à entrer quand nous-mêmes ni pour mettre en pratique protocole pas ça seulement sous observer moi et puis Jesse si vous observez nous prêts à sous télévision mais nous cadou nous ni des différents caméras sous nous quand nous-mêmes qu'à chaîne distance là yon à l'autre mais nous ca continuer puis programme nous ici et qu'on nous bien dit ça ca point coup en parlement en Castries bon matin.
Thanks for that. We continue with this morning's news. Cabot St. Lucia Limited donates $50,000 toward the COVID-19 response. Cabot St. Lucia, on the 17th of April, made a donation of 50,000 EC dollars to the government and people of St. Lucia to help fund essential resources for health service and frontline staff, as well as to provide support to residents across the island. The COVID-19 pandemic is having significant impact on lives and livelihoods across the globe, challenging the resources of large and small economies alike. St. Lucia is no exception, and Cabot St. Lucia sees it as imperative to join the fight and do its part. According to Jules Cohen-Dewar, the VP of Sales and Marketing, one of Cabot's guiding principles has always been supporting the communities in which we operate. This is an unprecedented time, and we are grateful to be able to contribute to the COVID-19 relief efforts in St. Lucia. We have now a report of teachers undergoing training workshops a week ahead of the new school term. As you would know, the learning from home term has now begun, starting Monday, April 20th. We now have a report from Anicia Antoine with the details of that.
The COVID-19 pandemic has pushed schools and learning professionals to transform quickly from face-to-face to online learning. The Ministry of Education has been providing educational technology training, with the most recent being Edmodo training for primary school teachers in all districts. The Edmodo network enables teachers to share content, distribute quizzes, assignments, and manage communication with students, colleagues, and parents. Jermaine Anthony, curriculum specialist at the Ministry of Education, noted that the reception from teachers has been positive.
I think the reception has been amazing, that the teachers were very happy. They thought that the training was relevant to what they were doing, or their needs as professionals in the teaching system, teaching profession. They They thought that many, I think about 60% of them were saying that they wanted additional time, additional support. Definitely they were pleased with the presenters that we had for the training, the facilitators. And by the way, I want to just say that the presenters we've had, we could not have done, a fraction of what we've been able to achieve this week without them.
Anthony explained that the focus of the third school term will be revising material to cater for any gaps in online learning.
To the teachers as well, in as much as we anticipate that, we have to make that transition, COVID-19 or not, we have to make that transition so that teachers can leverage technologies in the way they support instruction. We are not expecting miracles to happen overnight. And so what we've started to do, and we are continuing to do, is to train teachers and support teachers so that they are able to use some of the online learning platforms, e-learning platforms, whatever you call them, so that they have that option in their toolkit that they're able to use technologies like Edmodo, like Google Classroom, like Moodle, so that they would be able to give instructional support for the time being.
Anthony reaffirmed that the Ministry of Education will continue to support teachers as they continue to use technology integration to enhance the educational environment. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
And that was a report there from Anicia Antoine on the learning teachers undergoing training a week ahead of the new school term beginning, the learning from home term. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you watching on our television online. We would like to welcome you to the Parliament building where we're recording live on the COVID-19 response report from NTN. We continue with this morning's news with the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority wishing to advise the public that all residents continue to receive one residential waste collection per week until advised otherwise. Regular collection will only be undertaken on the first collection day of each week. If your collection day is normally Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you will receive collection only on that day. Bulk collection will remain suspended until further notice. All are encouraged to adhere to the new schedules in order to maintain clean communities. We now have another report. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Department of Health and Wellness conducted a sensitization workshop for home caregivers throughout the island. Janelle Norville has more.
The sensitization session was geared towards residential caregivers from various organizations such as Home for the Elderly, the Boys Training Center, Women's Support Center, and Transit Homes. It provided an opportunity for health officials not only to provide an overview of COVID-19, but to sensitize those providing services to the more vulnerable of the population, particularly the elderly and persons with chronic medical conditions, in one residential space. Another component of the session was to review and adapt infection prevention and control guidelines at the various organizations to reduce the potential risk of transmission of COVID-19 within these facilities. Senior Counselor at the Boys Training Center, Patrick Ferron, highlighted the importance of such a session given the need for accurate and factual information so as to combat COVID-19.
We have actually started the process already using information that is substantiated to work alongside our persons that we're serving. Now, in coming together as a team now, we're actually adding to what we have been using so far, and it will just help us to improve or to continue to find the best practices with certain things that are actually changing as one day moves on and another day comes.
Administrator at the St. Lucy's Home, Sylvester Phillip, emphasized the timeliness of the session.
The seminar today was, in a sense, very informative, very interactive, and a lot of minute details were gone through. And I'm very happy that I have participated in the workshop. The information that I have acquired will be passed on to my caregivers. In fact, I wasn't here alone. I was also here with the residential manager and one of my senior staff members. We will get together and we will disseminate the information to our communities. When I say communities, I mean our caregivers, people who come, general public, and who require that kind of information to enable us to overcome, whatever problems that we may have as it relates to COVID-19.
Bearing in mind what has transpired in other countries with COVID-19 outbreaks, where transmission in similar facilities resulted in poor health outcomes, early preparedness is necessary so as to prevent similar events in St. Lucia. The session for caregivers was organized by the Department of Health and Wellness. For the Government Information Service, I am Janelle Norville.
Thank you, Janelle Norville. We're there on the sensitization workshop for home care givers. We have a press release from the Department of Labor. It wishes to inform all farm workers scheduled to travel to Canada for the 2020-2021 season to contact the staff of the employment unit via email or telephone. Farm workers are asked to call one of the following telephone numbers between 8:30 and 4 p.m. And the numbers you can call is 722-0681, 720-1937, or 716-0857. Farm workers are also advised to contact the office via email address employment.unit@govt.lc. The farm workers are asked to contact the department without any delays, as there are urgent matters to be discussed. So a press release, a notice there from the Department of Labor. All farm workers are scheduled to travel to Canada for the 2021 season to contact the staff of the employment unit at the Department of Labor. Carlton?
Merci, Jesse. Encore si on est qu'à venir avec tant voix nous là bon matin développement et information nous avons sorti et là en cahier parlement en castoué qu'on nous bientôt bon matin programme est différent nous ici pour le gouvernement qui assis dans le Parlement présenté des billes par le Premier ministre et honorable Dominique Fédé, mais nous avons un développement qu'on l'a coutume aujourd'hui nous ici. En parmi développement où ils savent, les venus pour compagnie Cabot, yo bail gouvernement simplifié $50,000 et encore ou kay bien savent ça aller pour ces moun qui besoin équipement, ça c'est ces moun travailleurs essentiel là qui besoin équipement qui travaille changer la nanchai différentes manières nous ca assister ces moun qui dans ces manières ces donations qui ca sorti différentes compagnies pour les venir pour monsieur Conwa Diwa c'est lui qui est vice président qui est responsable pour marchandises qui a vendre et puis pour mettre compagnie en dehors. Il dit il y a ces principes compagnie c'est pour faire assurer yo supporter commune et puis ça c'est plus mêlé pour yo même trouver quoi yo ça contribuer expressément pour vermine COVID-19 et puis pour et de simplifier anti-soulagement. Parmi l'autre développement, où ils savent, les venus pour éducation, il y en a ces bagages qui a fait à présent, où savent hier l'école ouverte, et puis en chai, ces teachers a trouvé quoi ils entraîné, parce qu'à présent, ces mamans là qui apprennent caillou, ils ont été caillou avec la tenant chai, parler de ça, qui manière ça qui fait. Et toute direction ministre fait des voix qu'on y a bien dit sous TKV ou TKV observé c'est mon technical ministry éducation dit c'est un programme qui a continué et c'est tout bagaille pas en ordre mais il a commencé et vous savez si maintenant qui passe c'est teacher service men ça parmi eux pour entraîner quoi yo venir et plus habitué et puis un système neuf ça qui c'est maman là qui apprendre kayo. L'autre développement qui a pris coup, gens qui responsable pour programme point que c'est grand monde ben c'est moun ça trouvé koyo entraîné et puis les vini pour situation Covid là où kay savent c'est moun ça c'est yo qui responsable en parmi moun qui plus vulnérable les vini pour COVID-19 quand yo te vle ces moun ça trouver ko yo informé et yo te vle mettre dehors là c'est moun qui a fait travail ça yo te vle faire assurer yo ni toute bagaille en place yo te vle assurer yo indiquer ko yo les vini manière pour approcher ces gens ça manière pour traiter yo en dedans temps qu'on à présent. L'autre développement qu'on nous répété et puis nous teni hier sous programme là, là venu pour management autorité qui est responsable pour zodi Saint-Lucie solid waste. Yo ka vie informer public là sous te ka bien comprendre dat qui si ou te ka trouver corps zodou amassé 2-3 fois par semaine et ben une fois en semaine yo ka du premier jour en semaine ou te ka hen zodou amassé c'est ça qui est à présent quand on ka trouver corps zodou ka amassé une fois par semaine et pas l'habitude 2-3 et ben en compagnie place qu'on a ponier 4 fois par semaine. Yo aussi de là vini pour c'est pli ego zodia moun normalement ka mette et bon là oui kon vieux fridge, vieux stove, vieux matelas et yo ka dou ces bagay ça yo pas ka amasser pour à présent et puis yo ka ba ou date là les yo vieux commencer ka amasser ces bagay ça pour l'habitude pour raison ça yo ka dou pli souple trouver corps informé. Et puis Jesse
that. If you're just joining the live broadcast, we'd like to welcome you. We are not in studio this morning. The NTN COVID-19 response for St. Lucia report. We are coming to you live from the Parliament building in Castries, and this ties into this morning's proceedings of Parliament. The lower house will be convening this morning with proceedings to table the motion to extend the state of emergency to the 31st of May. Of course, you would have known that parliamentarians came into the House to initiate, to start the state of emergency the 23rd of March, and they have returned to extend it beyond the 26th of April to the to the last day of May. We want you to stay tuned for more coming up. We have more stories, and we will be providing you with some more information with regard to the state of emergency, the order that it is, and the state of emergency initiated by the Governor General. Do stay tuned for that and more.
Coronavirus? But children are safe, no?
Hold up. Children are actually more likely to touch all kinds of surfaces, put their hands on their mouths and their eyes, or sneeze and cough with little thought about hygiene when around others. While children have been seen to recover well from this virus, they can easily spread it to those more at risk, like the elderly or ill persons who have a weaker immune system. Teach the little ones in your care to be little powerhouses of infection prevention. Keep reminding them, wash your hands. Cover your mouth with tissue or your inner elbow when you sneeze and cough. And be sure to praise them when you see them taking these precautions.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to the broadcast. This is a St. Lucia's COVID-19 response report live on NTN. We'd like to thank you for viewing. For those of you watching via our channel and online, thank you so much. We do welcome your comments and questions. As you would know, this morning we are in the Honourable House, the Parliament building in Castries, and the Honourable Ministers and representatives will be convening in shortly to table a motion to extend the state of emergency to the last day of May, beyond 26th April. We have now joined our COVID-19 response report is tying into this morning's the lower house proceedings, so we'd like to welcome you. We continue with this morning's news. Protect the elderly during the COVID-19 pandemic. This word is coming from family case worker at the Division of Human Services Elder Care Unit, Miss Andrea Alcide. In a GIS interview with Tony Nicholas, Miss Alcide urged the public to take special precautions when interacting with seniors. Where possible, she hopes the individuals put off visitations and use other means of keeping in touch to reduce the risk of transmission to our most vulnerable in society. Anicia Antoine reports.
People with underlying diseases and older people are especially vulnerable to severe illness, more so in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. The elderly, especially those with pre-existing medical conditions such as heart disease, lung disease, diabetes or cancer, are more likely to have severe coronavirus infections than any other age groups. Family caseworker at the Division of Human Services Elder Care Unit, Andrea Alcide, encourages the public to take extra precautionary measures if caring for an older loved one.
The basic thing is try your best to keep them at home. At home is the safest place. Keep them at home, keep them informed, because as much as they're older persons, they need to be in the know of what's going on. So keep them informed, let them have factual information, not the hearsay, but let them have factual information. Avoid visitors. The same practices, the same hygiene practices that we've been taught and told to do on several occasions. We teach them the same, we remind them of the same, and most importantly, just try to keep them safe, keep them comfortable.
Alcide encouraged the public to practice social distancing and utilize the various technological mediums to stay connected with their elderly loved ones.
What we can do for those older persons who are tech savvy, the constant video calling, the WhatsApp calling. For those who don't, call them at least twice, 3 times a day. Have the neighbor shout them, or go to see them but stay outside and have the conversation from a distance. That can help. And just have them call us whenever they feel like talking. So there we have to ensure that, we're able to provide that service to them, that access to them, so they can reach us whenever possible. Just to say, hello, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling sick, this is getting me miserable, when will this be over? And they will ask you the regular questions, and it's okay to answer them 1,000,000 times.
Ms. Alcide noted that the Division of Human Services has been paying special attention and enforcing safety protocols to protect the more vulnerable older people in the society.
Ensure that the residential units, like the homes, the senior homes, Marion Home, Comfort Bay, that they follow protocol in keeping the distance, in doing the washing of the hands, all of that. And we need to pay special attention to those who are at risk, those who are ill, who have medical conditions, ensure that their medication is available, they eat on time, they've been showered and cared for on time. All the people who have cognitive challenges, like mental health challenges, ensure that they have their medication, ensure that they take the medication, ensure that if there are any signs of a relapse, that you know who to call, what time to call, what to do.
Alcide urged the public to focus on the maintenance of standard recommendations to prevent the spread of the infection. From the Government Information Service, I am Anicia Antoine reporting.
Thank you for that report. The state of emergency will lapse, that is, will remain in effect until the 26th of April. And if Parliament does not reconvene and move to extend it, as with efforts today, the state of emergency declared can be extended up to 12 months. In a GIS interview with a senior communications officer, Ms. Nicole MacDonald, on the 26th of March, Attorney General the Honorable Stephen Julian spoke on the necessity of taking a proactive approach legislatively in the management of COVID-19 on Ireland.
We had to close our borders. We had to stem the tide of those individuals who unknowingly would have been vectors, carriers of that scourge onto our island. We understand with our limited resources that this is the best opportunity, the best tool that was available to us to accomplish this end. And we are doing the best that we can in the time being. We have taken it. We had the opportunity to go to almost to the end of the year. 12 months would take us to next year, about this time. But we thought it prudent at this juncture to stay the course, see what happens on the 26th. If nothing changes, there is a possibility that we'll have to return to Parliament. I pray that this doesn't happen, that some formula is devised by which we could curtail its spread. But in the meantime, and as I said earlier, I would prefer, and I think every right-thinking St. Lucia would prefer to have taken the route as used by Taiwan, rather than a lax one as has happened in places like Italy.
And today, another proactive move taken under the circumstances, the convening of parliamentary sittings to table a motion to extend the state of emergency. On 11th March, the World Health Organization sounded the alarm that COVID-19 was a public health emergency of international concern. And the Honorable Attorney General explains the initial response of state leaders in St. Lucia.
They have been following, and likewise the administration, what had been happening globally. And this response from this advice rather from the Director General of the World Health Organization would have triggered a response locally by way of advice to the Prime Minister and what have you. It is based on this that we would have taken the next step and consulted with our Governor General, Sir Neville Snack, and it is based on this that you would have the proclamation come out. And by what I mean the proclamation, this is a formal instrument by which the Governor General, as per Section 17 of the Constitution, would declare that a state of emergency exists. And by that proclamation, he would have satisfied himself based on the advice of the technocrats. That's the CMO and the health experts in our space, that a public emergency has arisen as a result of the occurrence of, and in our case, the outbreak of pestilence or infectious disease. And in a nutshell, that is what would have happened. The action of the Governor General, having taken the advice and saw the advice of the technocrats, would have determined that we need to respond for the preservation of life in St. Lucia.
Now, following the proclamation from the Governor General, this action would need to be approved in Parliament along with an order to operationalize the state of emergency, hence the parliamentary sitting.
It would now be incumbent, as per the Constitution, the provisions of the Constitution, for there to be an approval of that action. And if nothing was done, it would have lapsed after 7 days. Okay. But we would have had to have made a determination, and we brought it to Parliament as is prescribed by the Constitution for the House of Assembly, Upper and Lower House, to consider a resolution to approve the order. And once that is done, you need another resolution which would require the order, which would operationalize the state of emergency under the Emergency Powers Act. So if we have those in place, you would then have the framework by which you could have your curfew, you could do all these other things that you need to do to protect the citizenry from the coronavirus, or the spread rather.
And also in that interview with the Senior Communications Officer, Ms. Nicole MacDonald, the Honorable AG spoke on, he responded to suggestions that we should have waited until there was community spread, because the state of emergency was announced before there was community spread in St. Lucia. So he responds to suggestions that we should have waited for community spread or until things would have exacerbated.
Some persons have been asking, are we at the point, should we have waited for some kind of spread for there to be a state of emergency? Mm-hmm. How would you respond to that?
Well, this is a fair question. Mm-hmm. And I will again revert to what the Director General, Dr. Tedros, said. And we have called every day for countries to take urgent and aggressive action. So do we decide to be Italy and what's happening there, this scourge called coronavirus 19, or do we take example from our friends from Taiwan? Do we wait until it is literally knocking at our door, or do we wait before it arrives at our shore to the extent that I saw only this morning in New York, where the healthcare workers are repurposing, and I'm using this fancy word, garbage bags into protective gear. We know our resources, so I think we have done, and I am convinced that the state has done the responsible thing in trying to curtail any spread beyond the level that it is currently at.
And that was a few clips from the Honorable AG, Stephen Julian, just giving us a breakdown of the protocols ahead of today, the protocols that have made everything from the state of emergency being instituted all the way to today, where parliamentary proceedings will convene to extend the state of emergency to the 31st of May. Carlton?
Merci, Jesse. Bon, on dit encore bienvenue pour vous qui avez nous sur NTN GIS et pour tout vous qui a écouté nous l'autre pays nous a dit bonjour à vous et vous avez observé nous dans un parlement qui suit et bon matin développement et pour apprendre nous nous qu'a fait ici vous avez aussi savent raison nous ici c'est parce que les vini pour plan stimulant gouvernement ni bail Saint-Lucie yo kai adressé parlement hodia gouvernement même premier ministre qui a mené amendement expressément pour deux anciens plans qui ni yon c'est NIC l'autre là on a Dominique Fédé et ni on pour l'autre amendement les vini pour tourisme mais nous avons un rapport avec développement qui a pris un coup parmi eux ou qui savent yon ces gens qui travaillent division human services ça c'est monsieur Mazer Andrea Alcide il a dit yon ces bagailles là il veut public là savent les il vini pour nous qui a aller et ben qui a trouvé qu'on nous évoluer et puis c'est grand monde yo en parmi ces moun qui plus vulnérable en parmi nous quand il a dit fait assurer ou trouver l'autre manière pour ou peut parler ba yo et ben trouver qu'on en contacter et puis yo passer pour highway yo et puis pour toucher yo et ben pour même et puis brasser yo il a dû parler ba yo sur un téléphone couiller yo parce que c'est moun ça parmi ces gens qui plus vulnérable en parmi nous ou kay ça aussi dans yon ces rapport au TKVA les vini pour yon ces gens qui travaillent communication officier yon ces plus expérience là Mazer Nicole McDonald il parlait by attorney général honorable Stephen Julian et puis là un chay moun ka mande question dit pour qui ça nous fait les vini pour payer à trouver quoi en cas de secours en parmi l'autre bagaille qui fait et nous ka suivre c'est au cas changer le 11 mars. Ça c'est les organisations qui responsables pour santé en la terre WHO ça c'est les yo dit nous trouver qu'on est dans état de secours quand tout pays tenu pour prendre action quand il a dit c'est vous mieux nous-mêmes faire ça nous te faire et passer pour nous te trouver qu'on nous dans situation qu'a espérer avant 20 minutes si merger pour nous mettre en place ça nous t'est supposé faire et puis un chay moun ka dit pour qui ça nous fait ça quand t'es bon pour qui ça nous tenu pour fermer pays et tout ça t'es il bail en explanation pour ça pour ou pas bien ça messieurs dames parmi ces actions ça c'est nous ici aujourd'hui c'est ça qui est une cause nous ici parce que ou kay savent yon ces bagaille là qui fait là c'est date qui nous ka ajouter état de secours de 10 du temps yo ka ajouter pour juste boire en bout en mai quand premier ministre ici pour présenter bill ça by parlement ou ka savent ici yon qui ça duré pour yon l'année 12 mois quand il pour venir ici pour faire ça l'autre bagaille nous kay vle public là savent aussi les venir pour situation qui existait as a résultat du vermin COVID-19 nous ka fait moun savent that qui premier ministre n'a pas fait décision par quoi il ni pour trouver quoi en parlement il ni pour présenter il y a pour en votation il y a voyer monter en sénat là quoi ça c'est raison nous ici et qu'on tant aujourd'hui premier ministre n'a qu'à présenter ces bills ça premier ministre et puis honorable Dominique Fédé de ces bills là qui trouver quoi présenter ici quoi c'est pour ça nous ici nous garder rester en écoute nous ni information qu'on il a développé ici sur GIS NTN Jesse.
Thank you very much for that. If you're just joining us, a special good morning to you. We are live from the Parliament building. We've brought our 2019 COVID response report from NTN to downtown Castries. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you watching on our channel and online, we do encourage you to place your questions and comments in our Facebook Live so we could perhaps get some word from the honorable ministers and representatives overall in due time. Just to let you know, we do have the representatives of the lower house trickling in. We do have members of the opposition, the honorable Ernest Hilaire, Honorable Moses Baptiste, as well as Honorable Representative Edward. We also have in the Parliament the Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, as well as the Honorable Ezekiel Joseph. So the representatives of the lower house are now trickling in. They're coming in for the convening of the House of Assembly proceedings this morning. And just to give you an understanding of how things will be going this morning, we will be having prayers, announcements by the Speaker, statements by the ministers, and the motion to be presented by the Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance. And Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and the Public Service. And this motion is, be it resolved that Parliament extends for an additional period commencing from the 27th of April 2020 and ending on the 31st day of May 2020 in accordance with the Section 17 of the Constitution of St. Lucia, the Constitution of St. Lucia, resolution of Parliament approving declaration of state of emergency passed as statutory instrument number 40 of 2020 that approved the state of emergency that was published in the Gazette on the 23rd day of March 2020 as statutory instrument number 39 of 2020 containing a declaration that a public emergency has arisen as a result of the occurrence of 2019 nCoV, an infectious disease commonly known as COVID-19, for a further period of 26 days commencing from the 31st day of March 2020 and ending on the 26th day of April 2020. So just to let you know, this is an urgent convening of parliamentary sittings, House of Assembly sitting, to table a motion to extend the state of emergency to the 31st of May 2020. Bills to also be laid by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and the Public Service. We have the tabling of the National Insurance Corporation Amendment Act, and that will be the first reading, as well as the Tourism Investment and Stimulus and Investment Amendment Act as well. So we will be seeing the tabling of these bills as well, the first reading in this morning's proceedings. Carlton?
Et puis merci la Jessie si ou là et puis nous toujours nous garder bonjour merci en chay ou était en écoute qu'on kay bien savent bon matin spécial nous ka venir avec nous ka apporter hot parlement ou kay ouais nous prend studio nous prend headquarters nous mais nous ka ba au développement qu'on kay fait bon matin manière bagay kay ici ou kay savent nous kay commencer puis la couille là même après ça nous ka un annoncement hot speaker house là après ça nous ka un annoncement par ces ministres et la motion qui a été présentée par le Premier ministre honorable Alan Chasney. Parmi les bagailles qui a été adressé, c'est le Parlement qui a demandé pour ajouter à ce état de secours là où ils savent qu'a commencé le 27 avril pour les 31 mai. Là, à condamnation, où ils savent en bas section 17 6 et puis là en constitution en simplicie en bas cap yon.0 yon là en bas instrument ça qui était limo 40 di 2020 et là yo kay approuvé qui était trouvé quoi approuvé état de secours à condense pour déclaration date qui nous ka expériencer en état de secours as a résultat du COVID-19 et puis qu'on nous ka couiller quand là pour commencer les 26 qui était bout les 31 qu'a haché pour ajouter qu'on a trouvé qu'on enfermé et c'est ça qui a pris cours ici à Jordia et nous a amené développement et nous a apporté ici à Hod Parlement qu'on y a fait. Merci.
Thank you for that. Ahead of this morning's proceedings, we can begin to see the representatives of the House of Assembly coming through. We have members of the opposition, representatives, the Honorable Sean Edward, the Honorable Moses Baptiste, as well as the Honorable Ernest Hilaire. We also have members of the government, the Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, the Honorable Ezekiel Joseph, these government ministers, representatives joining for this morning's convening of the House of Assembly. This morning, we will be seeing a motion being tabled to extend the state of emergency to the 31st of May, as well as two bills being, the first reading of two bills being tabled, also the NIC Amendment Act, as well as the Tourism Stimulus, Investment and Stimulus Act this morning, an amendment to it. Just to give you a timeline to leading up to today's proceedings, we had St. Lucia declaring a state of emergency due to COVID-19 on Monday, 23rd March, and that declaration was signed by the Governor General, His Excellency Emmanuel Neville Snack. The state of emergency came with a 6-hour curfew in force from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Parliament approves emergency powers disaster COVID-19 order. That was on Tuesday, 24th March. That was the very next day after the Governor General announced and signed the declaration of the state of emergency due to COVID-19. And we saw, well, this order gave the government very wide-ranging powers as the island faces the onslaught of this deadly virus. And in a rare move, the statutory instrument received support from both sides of the island, the lower and upper house. So something to comment on there. Scale-down operations were initiated that very week. The Prime Minister announced a 24-hour curfew on Wednesday, 1st April. I believe that was the next week. A national shutdown, he announced. NEMO then kicked into gear with the spearheading of the preparation and delivery of relief packages to those who were in need, and caught off guard by the Prime Minister's announcement. The Prime Minister then reduced the 24-hour curfew. Supermarkets, bakeries and banks were allowed to open for business to residents. Sorry about that, I need to adjust the mask as I speak. So I said the Prime Minister reduced the 24-hour curfew, supermarkets, bakeries and banks allowed to open for business to residents, and then things reverted to a partial scale down of economic activity. Persons were to leave home only for essential items. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force has since announced that 30 individuals have been arrested and charged for violating curfews that were since instituted. Just to let you know, school has reopened effective 20th April, the start of the school term, and it will be a learning from home term. Learning from home term in terms of students learning from home, teachers sending out activity sheets, their textbooks to their parents, of course, all regarding the physical distancing protocols in terms of coming to the school to collect these textbooks and activity sheets for your students. Also, the e-learning platform arrangements have been made for teachers and students to interact online.
Et puis, oui, Jesse ici, et puis moi, au Parlement, nous sommes Jesse Léon, c'est que moi, Carlton Cyril, puis moi, connaître Concox. Ici, nous avons mené développement, qu'on est pour faire, et puis, 20 000 COVID-19. Là, si vous changez, manière bagaille là, commencer à rouler, annoncement est fait, là, il vient pour WHO, qui a fait annoncement date qui, là, il vient pour 20 000 COVID-19, il dit, la terre, tout fait qu'on y dans état de soukou pour raison en chai bagay point coup ça mettait en chai bagay qui a commencé fait dans une manière dans l'autre tout fait qu'on affecté en parmi bagay qui fait c'est pays a tout fait qu'on en bas état de soukou pour en 24 heures de temps tout fait qu'on pays a la clé et monte demandé pour être caillou. Après ça, nous avons côté gouvernement permis moun pour sortir pour un petit moment et pour moun seulement qui était là, c'était ces gens travailleurs essentiels. Là, nous sortis 24 heures de temps pour 10 heures de temps état de secours et puis yo bay en chaque place pour ouvert mais place essentielle monde qui était brisé bagay essentiel pour ouvert après ça nous tant premier ministre l'a dit qu'on nous a expérimenté temps kawem qu'on temps hurricane place qui a vendre marchandises et produits pour ranger bagay qu'on citerne caillou fétail caillou amasser glo c'est place yo ba yo permission pour ouvert changer et puis condition yo changer c'est monde qui a travaillé ces places ça yo suivre protocole yo été horde yon a l'autre si pierre mettre ces places ça tenir pour faire assurer la même monde trouver koy sanitize moun mettez masque en visage yo là yo quand trouver place business et yo changer date qui pays en bas en état de secours toujours qui c'est 10 en temps après ça nous t'en annoncement fait là vini pour l'école maman l'école avec date là ministre responsable pour éducation fait bien clair là vini pour l'école qui date l'école qu'a ouvert et qui manière c'est maman là qui trouvé quoi yo accommoder et qu'a apprendre sortir en caillou et ben home yo quoi nous tant c'est teacher trouvé quoi yo Antoine et puis c'est maman là mettez encore yo en weg et ça même qu'a marché hodia nous ici en caille parlement et encore gouvernement qui présenté bill et puis yo kay fait amendement pour yonancer acte là en ici et puis après ça au kaitan on a Dominique Fédé li kay présenté yon bill aussi quoi nous ici quand il a fait ou même nous camado pour être en écouter station qui a menon information là ni pour faire 20 COVID-19.
Thank you for that, Carlton. Well, more and more ministers are coming in. It's important to note that the chambers have been closed to the public this morning in response to the COVID-19 situation. We do invite you to view the proceedings on television, online, instead of coming in. The public is not allowed to come into the chambers for today's proceedings, for the parliamentary proceedings today and tomorrow for the Senate. This morning, I think we would have seen members of the opposition as well as the government, Honorable Minister Bradley Felix coming in, the Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert, the Honorable Ezekiel Joseph coming in, coming in. Members of the opposition, we have since seen the Honorable Ernest Hilaire, these representatives, the Honorable Moses Baptiste, as well as the Honorable Sean Edward. So this morning we will be having the parliamentary proceedings, the meeting of the House of Assembly, and the ministers, the representatives are now trickling in, coming in for this morning's proceedings, expected to start at 10 a.m. So we are now in wait. We stand by for the beginning of this morning's parliamentary proceedings. Just to let you know, the motion to be tabled this morning is for an extension of the state of emergency forwarded by the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs and the Public Service. We will also be hearing of the first reading of the NIC Amendment Bill to be tabled by the Honorable Prime Minister, as well as the tabling of the Tourism Stimulus and Investment Amendment Act to be tabled by the Honorable Minister Dominic Fédé. We do encourage you to stay tuned to NTN. We will be carrying the proceedings live, and the ministers will be making their presentations, their contributions this morning. Thank you so much on behalf of the NTN team, production team. We encourage you to stay tuned. We will be here providing you the clear view of the House of Assembly proceedings this morning. Carlton?
Well, merci Jesse. Moi, just voulais répéter un bagay pour vous qui nous ka veille nous. Une observation qui c'est date qui lève pour parlement ka joindre aujourd'hui à public là, yo pas te permettre personne public là pour entrer ici et encore qu'ils savent c'est pour suivre protocole as a résultat du COVID-19 protocole qui en place pour empêcher moun venir ensemble pour empêcher la simerger ou kay observer en chay même parlement a tout fait koyo ici nous supposons commencer
Because of how quickly the coronavirus spreads, each new case calls for increased public vigilance. Know what is happening, understand why, and comply. Think of the protocols as war tactics. Personal protection tactics. Keep 6 feet away from others. Avoid riding the bus, gathering on beaches, in bars and shops. Public protection tactics. Quarantine yourself if you feel fluish in case you have been exposed. Call 311 or a respiratory clinic for advice. Country tactics. Partial lockdown. Supermarkets, small grocers, pharmacies and ATMs are accessible before curfew. Total lockdown. Everywhere stays closed 24/7 for a stipulated period. Team tactics. Don't only follow the protocols, be a protocols police. Let's win this.
Together let us win this war. Say we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
Coronavirus? I am worried, Gassa. It's only old people dying from that.
Hold up. Being young does not mean being safe. Yes, it's true that the elderly are at higher risk, but anyone can get the virus. The effect is even worse if you have a chronic condition like hypertension, heart disease, lung disease, and diabetes, or weakness in your immune system. If you are living with these conditions, be extra careful. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol when hand washing is not possible. Avoid touching your face. Take steps to boost your immunity through proper nutrition, exercise, rest, and take your medication as prescribed. Limit being around people who have flu symptoms, even close family members.
Our health is in our hands. Together, through simple actions, we can stop the spread of coronavirus. This message was brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hello everyone from Geneva and WHO headquarters. Welcome to this regular press briefing on COVID-19. Today, as always, we have WHO Director General Dr. Tedros, we have Dr. Mike Ryan and Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove. Before I give the floor to Dr. Tedros for his opening remarks. I hope you received today a number of press releases and other documents that we have sent you. For example, we sent you a press release on the first UN Solidarity flight that departed Addis Ababa, carrying vital COVID-19 medical supplies to African nations. We also shared with you strategic preparedness and response plan for COVID-19. We also had a document that states that alcohol does not protect against COVID-19, and some other documents as well.